and banged on the door. And we tried to get the ambulance on our phone, but we didn't know where we were. You know, we didn't know the name of the road. So I banged on the house, and the woman said, I'll call the ambulance. So she called the ambulance. Her husband come down. He was only a young lad. I think he was in his 40s. And he said, is the man speaking? I said, no. I said, he's dead. I said, he's finished. So I said, if you don't want to come down, don't come down. I said, we need the ambulance. And he said, I must come down. He knew the bloke, mate. He lived about 400 metres away from him. And my missus, when she got out of the car, I walked down there. I said, don't come down here. She started like making her way down. I said, don't come down here. Because it was really done already. So mate, he come down. He was on his phone. And this pickup truck went past again 3 times, Roy. I said, this man was looking down there when I came. So the ambulance or the fire engine turned up, and there was nothing I could do, because I can't speak Greek. So I said to the man, look, we're going to go. I said, and in all honesty, me and my missus had a bottle of white wine earlier on the beach, so the last thing I wanted to be breathalyzed. It'd probably been okay. So yeah, the fire engine turned up, and they did what they had to do. We went down to the little village. And then the next day, I said to my missus, she didn't want to drive across the top there. I said, we need to go across the top. Anyway, there was all the police investigators there. So I said, should I stop? And my missus said, no, don't get involved. I said, look, imagine it was one of our kids and it happened to. They want to know what's going on. So I pulled up, I said, look, I was the first one here on the scene. So I was there for about 2 or 3 hours. They said, we need to come to the police station to make a statement. So I said, yeah, okay. So about 2 hours later, he phoned me up and said, okay, if you've been there in 40 minutes, he said, come to the police station. So I went and did that, I had to get an interpreter. So this woman turned up, actually an Australian woman. She turned up and did all the statements. I just said to my missus, I said, look, if we got back to England and we hadn't said anything, the family would never ever know what happened. So I said, we had to do it, over. It was really weird, Roy. Really weird. He was married, the guy was married to the man who died sister. I clocked the car, it was a Toyota pickup truck. I clocked it and had like a name on the side of it, and in the back it was a red wooden box. I think they had hunting dogs or things like that. So he kept driving up and down, looking, and the bloke who came out of the house, I said, do you know him? He said, yeah. It's only a little small village, you know, like a little tiny village. So I said, he will stop here. When I came, he will stop here looking down there. He knows that man's there. So he said, okay. With that, the man drove past again. Then the fire engine turned up, and he came back and he stopped. I don't know whether it was just shock, Roy, or he didn't want to see him. He'd obviously seen how fast he'd gone off the edge, or seen him go off the edge. Maybe he just didn't want to go down there and see the bloody mess of it. So, yeah, another guy turned up in a green Jeep, and again, that little gold star on the door. And I clocked all this stuff, and when I was there on the Tuesday morning, I told the police, you know, everything I knew, the different cars that had gone past and turned up. So that all got sorted. But they buried the bloke yesterday, Roy. He died Monday, they buried him yesterday, over. Yeah, especially when there's strange conditions like that, you know, with strange circumstances. You know, they obviously, they were there, and the police investigator here was bloody useless. Absolutely useless. I was telling him, I said, I don't know what direction the bike come from, because it was down there when I stopped. And he started looking at tyre tracks on the curbs and things like that. I said, my friend, I said, there's a big articulated lorry that parks here every night. I said, them tyre tracks are from the Arctic. I said, you can see the width of the tyre and the tread. No. He said, no. He said, this is the truck, the black truck. I said, it's not. I said, there's an Arctic truck that parks here every day. He said, the oil, that's from that pickup truck as well. I said, no, it isn't. I said, it's from the Arctic that parks here, and it's parked there all week. It just happened not to be there on the bloody Monday, over.
With this I will try to get rid of this mess because there's too many knobs.
on the Monday.
I need
he
6
said
of these.
the man had left on his motorbike from one side of the village to go to
This
the other
crazy
side.
situation that happened there.
And he wasn't gone for very long. But when I saw him, I thought he'd been down there for hours. Right? When you looked at him, I touched his belly to see if it was still warm, but he wasn't. I don't know how cold would go quick.
This is just sad. Sad to hear such things happening.
Trying to go to sleep on that night, every time I shut my eyes, I saw his bloody face.
Yeah, I can imagine. I have been in similar situations where I can see things happening like that. Some of them I was able to interact and save people, but some of them I have not been there too quick.
Everything I could do, I done. So that sort of put my mind at rest a little bit. I slept better last night. So hopefully.
I wish I could talk to this guy, really. Because I know what he is going through right now.
I was at the police station on Tuesday. They said his funeral's on Wednesday. So he died Monday night. But that's what they do over there. Same as Spain, Roy. One of my friends died back in January. He's my age, 54. But he did love a drink. And he had a bit of problems in the UK. He was a clever bloke. Very good mechanic. He worked for the Formula 1
here
team.
You can
he worked
see
for Jaguar, he worked for McLaren.
What I do done here. If you stop the video,
he wanted to be a bloody gangster. Anyway, he bought a boat last year, I think last March, and he said, "I'm gonna sail down to Spain, Steve."
This is the main antenna for me for the long range. This is how I'm getting the UK.
It took him 9 months to go down through
if I will disconnect this.
He popped out in Spain and he sailed
it's actually cool. But that's because it goes with the other wires, antennas I meant.
And said, "Mum, I'm sitting next to Jesus." But that's where he was mad at the house. And she said, "Oh." And then about 2 or 3 days later, he fell off the boat and drowned, over.
That's crazy. Yeah, I don't hear the other guys. You can hear the static here coming in. When I put it in, the static goes away. And I have many stations.
Yeah, I think it was, what are we now, Thursday, Tuesday. I saw a load of things on the HF radio site saying all these people are changing their call signs. Then they're saying, oh, they should leave them as they are, because the 2 Echo 0 would be a good one to get out of a pile-up. So I thought, do I change it? But I actually got the UVK bit waiting for the M8. So now I'm M8 UVK, over.
This is just a 1 position switch. It does not have 2 positions, so it's just a tester. Yeah, and I buy these like this, and I put super glue in between. I rough them up with the sandpaper. Then I put them one against each other, and then they come out like these. These are all broken ones, but still.
On the DX site, on your site, on Roy's and Randy's shack. Where's Baby Bird? Has Baby Bird not come in today?
They are €6 for 5. And they are pure copper inside. So they work really good with antennas. And really good to test things out before you commit. As you can see, I can test whatever configuration I want. And then I can just solder it to box or whatever. Yeah. Okay. Hope you have a good day. Frequency Watcher out. Bye.